And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. Nope, this is the lowdown. So today on the show, we are going to be talking about the Lakers getting a much needed blowout. That was nice, right? That was nice, relaxing second half. Needed that one quite a bit, especially given the way that the first half was going or went. The Lakers bench, I thought, had kind of one of those huge moments that can help define or turn things around for them. AD picked up his fourth foul at the same time LeBron was going to be subbing out in that third quarter. So we had LeBron and AD go to the bench at the same time with 4 minutes to go, and the game didn't get out of hand. That was actually very nice. So we're going to talk about that. And then finally, uh, with Cam Reddish sitting, the thought was that perhaps Austin would finally go back into the starting lineup again, and that you would get some of this nonsense kind of cut out or whatever. That was not the case. Rui Hachimura gets to start for Reddish. So you had LeBron, Prince, Vando, Rui, and AD out there to start the game. So we'll talk about some of the ramifications from that, and what that group looked like here on, again, a nice, relaxing night. Shouts to the Lakers for finally giving us that. All right, so the Lakers beat the Charlotte Hornets at home. The final here was 133 to 112. And you look, the first half ended and the Lakers were only up by one. At various points in the first quarter, the Lakers were actually trailing. And it was nice to see that the Lakers, in that second half, finally did to the Charlotte Hornets what a good team should do to the Charlotte Hornets. And that is a nice, pleasant development, given the way that the rest of, especially since the in-season tournament is gone, right? So that was great to see. The obviously we'll get to some of the lineups, right? Alex Chavez chimes in here saying, "Don't even care they won. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on the lineups." I will get to that here in a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not going to take too much from this game either way. I thought that first group looked kind of clunky. It looked better in the second half, but I think it looked better because they started playing harder. And I think this is something that this team is going to consistently contend with internally is you have to care. Night in, night out, you have to care. And I thought in that second half they did. In the first half, they didn't as much. And I thought that the results from the two halves were very reflective of that. Looking at individual stat lines here, Anthony Davis goes 11 of 19 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, grabbed 8 boards, scored 26 points, blocked 4 shots, stole 2 balls, had 2 steals, was a +6 on the night, and was the best player on the court, I thought, pretty easily. He was absolutely dominant on the interior and played the type of basketball that, like, if that is the Anthony Davis that you're getting night in, night out, and for what it's worth, that's pretty damn close to what the Lakers have been blessed to be able to get from Anthony Davis night in, night out this season. He just continues his stellar play on both sides of the court. And, I thought really kind of set a tone, even as the Lakers kind of collective, excuse me. Again, still getting over the bug, but the Lakers, I thought, were varying levels of unserious in the first half there. But I thought the one guy who was bringing it on both sides consistently was AD. And it was nice to see him finish with this kind of a stat line in a blowout. That he didn't play the fourth quarter. So if he plays that fourth quarter, you're probably looking at an even more impressive stat line that I think better echoes the type of play that he demonstrated in this one. You had Rui Hachimura was in the starting lineup tonight. In 28 minutes, he goes 7 of 12 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3-point range, but 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 4 boards, an assist, a steal, and was a game high plus 34 in this one. The Lakers won by 21. Right? Do I have that right? Yeah, they won by 21, and he was a plus 34. And honestly, that tracks. He was very good out there. He has been, I've thought now for a little bit, very good lately. Continues to basically make the case and almost an arguable case that even when Cam comes back, I kind of think that you got to get the more talented player more minutes here. 28 minutes is still kind of low. Some of that is again having to do with the blowout or whatever, but I think Rui is and this should never have been the kind of thing that he needed to earn. I thought that coming into the season, he should have been like a part of the rotation period. But lately, I think he's really made a case for himself that, yeah, he needs to be in that rotation, probably needs to start. And if he isn't starting, he needs to be like the first wing off of the bench for whoever does get the nod over him. So that was great to see. LeBron had kind of a weird LeBron game. 17 no, it being weird is still an impressive stat line. 17 points, 11 assists, 7 of 13 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3-point range, 4 boards, only 2 turnovers, was a +1 in the minutes that he was out there. And his vibes in this one were something I was really kind of paying close attention to. And he subbed out in the second quarter at one point, and he goes and he sits on the bench and he kind of like shook his head. And it was a kind of thing that, and I'll talk about the lineup changes here in a little bit, but it was the kind of thing that like kind of stuck out to me because it was like, I know that the Lakers aren't playing their best basketball, but his vibes towards this game were just kind of weird. And I think, again, kind of go with some of the things that I've been reporting lately about some of the vibes in the locker room and some of the sentiment towards Darvin Ham. And this starting lineup tonight, I think, was kind of a weird. I think it's an unintended message, but it was kind of a weird message that I don't think is going to land particularly well with that returning core. But it was a weird game for LeBron. And then you look at the bench, and Christian Wood played very, very well in this one. 9 points in 23 minutes, grabbed 5 rebounds, 4 assists in this one. It's kind of weird, but plus 19. On the night, you had D'Angelo Russell, 16 points, 9 assists, 5 of 10 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3-point range. He finishes a plus 18. Austin Reeves plays 24 minutes. It's a little low. He picked up 3 fouls in the first half. He scores 16 points with 4 assists, 6 of 8 shooting from the field, 2 of 3 from 3-point range. Max Christie got some minutes in this one and had some great minutes, I thought, in this one. 10 points, plus 18, 7 boards, 3 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, 2 of 3 from 3-point range. There's no reason I don't think that Max Christie should be getting DNP CDs. I still contend he has a skill set that the Lakers really need. And also, like, he's a part of your future. Like, you should be, invested in getting this guy some more looks and some, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes every night. He needs a stint on the court, I think, and like kudos to him for staying ready and being ready to go. He and Wood, right, in this one, stepped in, and I thought injected some energy into a team that like desperately needed it. Not desperately, but like clearly needed it. And it was good to see that. And then finally, Jalen Hood-Schifino got some minutes. Played 7 of them, all of the garbage variety. 1 of 5 from 3-point range, 0 of 1 from 1 of 5 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3-point range, an assist, a steal. And I still don't see it. I think he needs a lot of work. And we'll see. We'll see where he is at the end of the year, and we'll see what he looks like next season, I guess. The next topic, right, I wanted to talk about was the bench coming through. And I mentioned it at the top, but with about like 4 minutes and change, I think it was 4:16 to go in the third quarter. This is when LeBron usually gets subbed out. AD picks up his fourth foul, like right then. So both of those guys walk to the bench. It's not something that I'm not blaming him for this. It's circumstantial or whatever. But both those guys go out. And I don't think that there would have been any any minutes without both LeBron or AD in the game. I think otherwise they were pretty well staggered. But LeBron and AD marched to the bench because of the circumstances. And I remember like talking to the guys on All Access Lakers tonight, playback.tv/All Access Lakers is where you could watch games with us. I looked at looked at those guys. I was like, this is kind of big moments here. Not just like for the sake of the game, but also for the Lakers. Like at some point, everybody not named LeBron or Anthony Davis need to like play for a little bit of pride, right? Like you need to like not be a disaster whenever those two guys aren't on the court. And I know that the offense is driven towards having LeBron out there. I know the defense is driven towards having Anthony Davis out there. But at some point, you do need to like still be an NBA player and still be an important role player and be able to like not just bleed points when those guys aren't out there. And in this case, I thought it was an interesting and I thought right move here from Darvin Ham, where instead of attaching Christian Wood to Jackson Hayes in the way that he has all season, Wood got to play on his own. He got to be the center. So you had some lineups out there where you had multiple wings, you had a ball handler, and you had Christian Wood, and those groups looked good. that group there in particular that finished, excuse me, that finished that third quarter. LeBron and AD subbed out, and there was with 4 minutes to go. It was a 10-point game. And I'm thinking, okay, just keep it around like 7, please. Like, don't let this game get any closer than 7 points. The outcome of that third quarter is that they actually extended the lead, and the Lakers finished that third quarter up 18 or 19, and LeBron and AD didn't have to come back in. And I thought it was a matter of two things. I think Wood has been better than I think we think of him. I think Wood has been kind of mischaracterized by this coaching staff as somebody who needs to play next to a center. I don't think that is the case. And then those guys who like were actually on the court there like played with some gusto, played with some pride. And that group extends the lead. And I thought that, again, I'm not going to take any grand themes from this one in terms of anybody individually or any lineups or anything like that. But where I do think this game might wind up mattering in the grand shape of it all or the grand scheme of things, this season is going to be as it pertains to that group or the bench not being a disaster when those guys when LeBron and AD subbed out. That has not been the case this season. And if the Lakers are able to find a combination that is not a disaster there, that opens up some things in terms of like not having to play AD and LeBron 35 minutes a night. And the Lakers, by the way, are going to have to find something that allows them to not have to play those guys 35 minutes a night. So that was really cool to see from the bench, and they deserve a whole bunch of kudos for their ability to get that done. The last thing that I want to talk about here, and I'm going to keep this show relatively quick because you guys have heard me all show. But Reeves doesn't get the start. And So the way that this played out today, once we found out that Cam wasn't going to be able to go, started asking around. And the first person that I asked about the starting group, and I said, like, there's no way. Come on. There's no way that, with Cam not being able to go, like, there's no way Austin is going to continue to come off of the bench, right? Right? Like, we aren't. This whole stupid thing is gonna, like, it has to end at some point. This seems like a pretty logical point for it to come to a close. And my response from that person was LOL no. Which we went back and forth, and that was meant to basically s- signify like there's some frustration, not just beyond myself, us as fans, whatever, but also in terms of like the locker room and maybe even the organization of like, Darvin, come on, man, so that was the first text that I got. So then I started working on confirming it so that I could maybe again be able to report. I was able to, but I wanted to be able to know who was going to be starting, especially once we found out who was available. And in asking around, it was the same kind of tone, right? Nope, it's going to be Rui, and Austin is still going to come off of the bench. And what I would say is, and what I reported coming into this game, right, and what I wrote for Substack was that core, and I said this to Aaron earlier today in the lounge when he and I did that show together. But uh, that core of 6 guys, right? The Lakers have 6 guys returning from last year's team who were like important parts of the rotation. Max technically was also there, but he wasn't he wasn't a part of the playoff rotation. So you have Austin, D'Lo, uh, Rui, Vanderbilt, LeBron, and AD. Those 6 guys, right? If you looked at them at media day and you heard them talk about the notion of coming back and running last year's core back, they all were like through the roof of, man, you saw what we were able to do in this in that setting with all of that against us, that uphill climb. We were able to accomplish that. Can't wait to see what we could do when we get to build on that, right? And basically the foundational frustration this season with Darvin and the coaching staff in particular is that core, and then by extension the rest of the team, you went through all of that. You went through all of those battles together. And then you come in here and you have a brand new offensive system and the like most productive lineup that the Lakers had last year has played all of 1 minute together this year. I don't believe they played tonight together. I'd have to look. Um, and so there is some annoyance, right? And like that's why I was kind of paying close attention to LeBron in particular, where I wanted to see how he would respond to Darvin not taking this opportunity to reinsert Austin into that starting group. And I thought LeBron's kind of body language in this one was one of frustration. Again, I mentioned he subs out and he goes and sits at the end of the bench and he just kind of like shakes his head. The Lakers are in a close game against the Charlotte Hornets, who are playing without LaMelo Ball. Like their best players out. You're in this, like, I think Raj called it a chicken fight in the on All Access Lakers, right? It was too close of a game. And again, the Lakers wind up extending the lead, and it winds up being a blowout in the second half. And LeBron and AD, like, as the Lakers were going on those runs, we're certainly really enjoying it, right? You have the viral clip right now of LeBron and AD doing like after Austin went behind the back on that layup, you have LeBron and AD bumping into each other on the bench doing the Euro step to have a little bit of fun with that moment as well. Cool to see. But in that first half, the way that anytime a coach does something that is kind of out of left field, the corresponding response internally in those situations is always like well, it better work. you know, um, and in this case, in that first half, after I see that lineup, it's a weird starting lineup. You're like, all right, well, it better work. And it wasn't in the first half. They at the by the time the first subs came in, that starting lineup was down a couple points to a bad Charlotte Hornets team that was playing without their best player. And and again, this core six guys is like, when are we going to do this? Like, when are we actually going to commit to the team that got you, like, basically got him an extension? Like, Darvin Ham got an extension off of that run. The guys responsible for it are like, hey, man, like, can we do the thing that we said that we were going to do this year? Can we actually do the continuity thing? And then when you're given that opportunity, you don't take it, you better effing win. And look, like, those guys played harder in the second half, and that was a big part of this too. But this was a game that, like, you kind of needed to win going away, and they did. But I didn't think that starting group was so overwhelming against a bad Charlotte Hornets team that I'm like, yeah, it worked. I don't think it did. I still don't believe in this. Especially given the fact that, like, we don't have to believe in Austin, even if it's Russell, if it's Prince, whatever, Vando / Rui, LeBron and AD. Like, I don't have to believe. It's not a concept that I have to believe in. I saw it. It's not a concept that, like, needs proving. It was proven last year. This one needs proving. And to this point, with Cam out there, it hasn't been good. With Rui out there, it was less bad. And in this case, it's just like, just do the easy thing, do the logical thing. And that's me saying that, and that's kind of me echoing also how guys feel about it in the locker room. So that I think is like, if we're to take anything from this, I think the two things to take from this game are going to be, like, it was great to see the bench play and show out the way that they did. And I think Darvin missed an opportunity here to gain a little bit of trust back by remaining as stubborn as he is with Austin. And I'm not going to go into detail quite yet because I don't have a full grasp of it right now. But there's a weird dynamic here at play between Darvin and Austin. There's a lot of people kind of shaking their heads wondering what the hell is going on there. And I thought tonight kind of furthered that gap between those two people when it was a perfectly easy opportunity to narrow it. And yeah, the Lakers got their win. Yeah, it was great to see the bench, but this is the thing that, like, is going to annoy me tonight as I'm getting ready to go to bed. This was an easy win that Darvin Ham turned down. So, yeah, that's, and look, Alejandro makes the point here. Also, Ham changed the offense that brought success, implemented an offense with 5-man out. Makes no sense after promoting consistency in the offseason. Yeah. And by the way, like, that's part of, so I've talked about the vibes within the locker room, but organizationally, the Lakers are kind of looking at the job that Darvin is doing right now, and they're like, this isn't what we had in mind, and so it's going to continue to be something to keep an eye on for however long you have to. Fortunately, they get their win here tonight. They needed this win here tonight because the upcoming schedule is not particularly easy. All right, I'm going to quit while I am ahead, while I still have a voice. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow afternoon for a happy hour. Time is TBD. It's going to be in that kind of late morning, early afternoon Pacific time range is what I'm hoping for, depending on Jen's schedule and the kids and all of that. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin. Oh, by the way, tomorrow should have some show news as well to send us into the new year. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin. Saying have a great rest of your day. make somebody else's, and I will talk to you mañana.